Welcome back to that Thursday thing. We are back in the house on a Thursday, 7 p.m. EST. Mr. U, Herb's in the house. Shane should be en route. What's happening, partner?
Man, it's a beautiful night. Been hanging out with my dad. You already heard a couple of the stories already.
Don't tell all the stories now. Don't tell them all now.
You know when the dad trying to get you in trouble, my dad is trying to get me in trouble. You know?
Yeah, he trying to get you a bar from Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's what he's trying to do. Don't let it happen, bro. Don't lose your plate at the table.
He'll be sitting there like this. I don't know why Herb did that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh he better not go that route. That's not right. Yeah. Lady Alpha, first Alpha? One in. Girl, I wish it was a award we can give you for being the first one in the box all the time. But thank you so much. So good to see you. Can't wait to hear your thoughts and comments and questions. Oh man, so we ain't gonna wait on Shane. I don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully he's okay up there in the greater New York area. Yeah,
he's been going through it.
I thought the weather was good for him, but I don't know. But we'll find out. But I wanted to kind of kick off instead of going news and notes, and I got some questions for both of you guys. So I'm glad that we're not starting with it. So when it shows up, that'll be good. But we got to get into this quarterback purgatory story because I've been holding it for a whole month, literally 4 weeks, and we can't seem to get to it. So I figure if I start off with it, I can't mess it up this time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's do it.
Got a little compliment from Lady Alpha. Said our smiling faces were, girl, you keep talking like that, we keep on showing more teeth. So watch yourself now.
I might blush.
Watch yourself now. I'm gonna show more bicuspids now. Watch yourself. Be careful out here. But this is funny, man, because I guess I got two questions that I love for you and, of course, our viewers and listeners to kind of answer because the whole quarterback purgatory thing is kind of messed up. I know that my team is definitely in the conversation, but there's quite a few that are in it. I don't think they realize they're in it. But When I say quarterback purgatory, what comes to mind for you? What do you think that means? We having a little school up here tonight.
You never can solve the position, no matter what you do, right? And no matter what solution comes into it, it's like never the right solution. And you always feel like you're a quarterback away from, like, if we just had a good quarterback, we would be XYZ. But the Browns seem to be like the poster child for this, right?
They're in the conversation as well.
Spoiler alert. I might be jumping ahead, but yeah.
No, spoiler alert.
I feel like, hey, quarterback purgatory is, man, if we could just solve the quarterback position, we would be great. But they never seem to solve the quarterback position.
Yep. They go into this a little deeper. I wonder if you agree with this part of the definition.
Bring it on.
They say like basically average to even above average quarterbacks can lead their team to the big one. They consider that quarterback purgatory. How you feel about that? You think that's a good discussion?
I think that's fair because I think you only have a handful of like elite quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these teams are, let me get a really good team around you and get decent quarterback play and I'll be okay. There's not as many where I need, hey, I got to have an elite quarterback to lift up the whole team no matter what we do. Now, a lot of these folks are, just give me something. So I can feel that. Okay. How many elite quarterbacks do you honestly, think are out there at times? So.
Because if you feel like that's true, and I kind of feel the same way, this list I have might not be long enough. This might turn into something else that I didn't plan. Because let me tell you what I got on the list so far. And I have two questions in regards to this list that I wanted you and the viewers to try to answer for us. I got the Cardinals on this list.
That's an interesting one. Did you realize that he's been there 7 years?
I thought it was 6, but yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe he's going into year 7. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And 2 years ago, he had a severe leg injury. So
but
can't help but factor that in. So that takes away his dual threatness, which is kind of what they kind of expected him to be able to do. The Seahawks were in it. I'm not sure if you still feel the same way now, but the Seahawks were actually in the conversation before Darno. That's I had this for a whole month. So I'm bear that in mind. Might not be time sensitive anymore. The Browns, the Saints, the Giants, the Cowboys are in this conversation. We need to talk through that one. The Buccaneers are in this conversation. I think I kind of get it, but not totally sure where they're going with that. And then the Jaguars. So, with that list right there, based on the fact that you agree with the whole average to above average starters thing, are we adding the Chargers into this?
See, I don't feel like the Chargers and the Jags are necessarily, because they at least think they filled out, you know what I mean, this list, and both those guys have at least traits of what you would think would be their superstar, thing. For the Chargers, it seems like they've been through several other things, right? Half your wide receiver core has been hurt, right? Your terrible coaching leading into this, a whole change of philosophy halfway through this man's prime. It's hard to figure out because I think if everything else was right around him, Justin Herbert would be the guy for you, right? But there's so many other circumstances that I don't fit. Chargers people who like the Chargers think that Herbert is a great quarterback, right? And he's never let them down, right? Trust me, outside view, we're like, you still got to get something done, right? He's clearly not elite because he hasn't raised bad situations to good. You know what I mean? Let's be honest here, right? Patrick Mahomes is elite. They have put trash around him at times, and he has still been like, even the Super Bowl they won against the Pats, that man got out of a lot of situations and threw a lot of good passes that people just flat out dropped. He has done the best, right, with what has been around him. Justin Herbert does not raise that level for you. So it's kind of like you're in a position where you're paying him, a good amount of money. You can't get off of him easily. Who would you even pivot to if you wanted to? But it's kind of a perception versus reality thing with him, right? And you as a Chargers, or I guess a secondary Chargers fan?
Yeah, absolutely. I can own that. Absolutely.
So you're not a big Justin Herbert guy?
I like him a lot. I think his arm is spectacular, but how many times have we seen somebody with an arm that couldn't get to the dance? I mean, more times than I can count. Matter of fact, it applies in college, so I got several examples there too. So it's like, if he can't do that, isn't it kind of like a QB purgatory? Because when his contract runs out, you got to try to figure out how to sign him for more, potentially, and then you basically probably hamstring your franchise a little bit. And if you don't, and he decides, you know what, I want to test the waters elsewhere, guess what you're doing? You're starting all over again. I mean, is this not?
This is actually a better definition than my definition. It is actually a perfect definition, and it explains why the Jags and Dallas are in there. You can't let your guy just walk that you have in there, but you might not be in a position to ever win the big one with him. So you're stuck in this spot of we will always be mediocre to good, but never great and never win the whole thing. That's a better definition. It kind of actually eliminates the Browns from that definition and moves on to more teams like the Jags. Yeah. Well, because I don't think they've ever been like good to great. Like, I think they're almost in a whole different level of was the 7 layers of hell. They're in something else when it comes to the quarterback situation. But
all right,
Jags,
okay. It's weird.
Well, no, I was just wrong on that. The Jags, the Chargers, and the Cowboys are in the true purgatory. They can't just let their current guy walk, right? They're paying him.
Kind of say with Watson, though. They can't let Watson walk, though.
But Watson has been way more terrible and has offseason. Like the Browns are at a whole nother level.
I think they are at a whole different level.
They created a whole. You're not wrong, as far as saying, hey, are they in purgatory? But it's like if the other teams are right here in purgatory, the Browns have jumped it up to here. You're paying a guy $230 million who won't play for you, who has been terrible when he is playing. You had to pony up to pay your best defensive player who's just going to be wasted. Like that's a whole nother. And the guy that you let go to get Watson is actually doing well on his current team, So,
well, we're gonna just circle the Browns, and I don't know what else we can do. But before we get into that, let's shout out Carissa. Congratulations on hitting 403. That's Congrats. So good. That's good. That's really good for Twitter. Keep it rolling. We're gonna try to help you out wherever we can out there. But good stuff. Keep posting and being consistent. You get even more than that. You have 1,000 in no time. Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Well, we can go ahead and circle the Browns. So, any other team that we need to add to this before we start breaking it down team by team? Anybody else we should be adding in this conversation? At least that comes to mind. I don't want to have to scroll through all the standards, but anybody jumps out at you aside from who we already named that you think just kind of fits in this category?
Well, so I know that he's gone because the kids have something to do tonight. So, man, the Dolphins are probably in this category too as well. You know,
I for sure think so, man. I Raj knows how I feel about this. I am not thrilled with the whole multiple concussions deal. That's not a good situation, and it's almost impossible to avoid at least one more hit. You know, I mean, you're playing the roughest sport beside rugby that there is. I mean, the old tackle's going to miss his man, or gets tossed down, or gets tripped up. And you're going to be free game, and they can tackle you.
Well,
helmet
he
hits
also
the ground. I mean,
it's the contact too, though. That's on him too. The last concussion he got was not the defender's fault at all. He ran into the defender, you know. And then the first game back, he dives into somebody else to make a tackle. I'm saying you're not even protecting yourself at this point. So no, that's
the one where he dove head first, right? That's that one.
Yeah. You know, and we're just looking at like, we don't need you to make that tackle. We need you to be on the field, you know?
I don't think nobody.
You know, basketball where the guy, where your star player has a lot of fouls and somebody's on a fast break and they foul him, you're like, bro, just let him score the point. We need you on the field more than we need you to stop any play. So, Yep.
Exactly. The Big Mike's in the house, the Running Wrestling Podcast. I think they're on Thursday nights. Whew, don't hold me to the time, brother. I think it's
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Central. Yep.
8 p.m. Central.
Yep.
Okay.
Every play could be 2 hours less. WrestleMania next week too. So great point.
That's going to be fun. Every play could be 2 hours less, much more so than anyone else. I feel like this is they got to be included into this QB purgatory list, man, because even if he doesn't get hurt, but he does marginally well, which is a real possibility. The way Tyreek Hill's going right now, you may have less of your weapons than you normally have.
Right.
You're trying to play yourself out of the league.
Yeah. I mean, any though.
I got a question for you in regards to that. Hopefully, we have enough time to get through it. But yeah, so I think the Dolphins are definitely in this category right now. I mean, hopefully, Dolphin fans agree because you can't help but see it. If something happens to him, he's subpar, he's getting a new contract. Yeah, I don't think so. It's too many concerns. So it's like this is QB purgatory too. Anybody else will be missing? If not, we can go ahead and start tackling the ones that we got.
Right. I mean, I feel like that was one of the last. Green Bay's close to it if Jordan Love doesn't pan out. You know, you got to think about the teams.
You about to set some folks off tonight with that one.
Yeah. Well, and that depends on what they think about him. But you got to think about the guys that are paying their guys a lot of money, and we haven't gotten anything yet from them. So that's an interesting one right there. You know, you're gonna pay
Jordan Love is getting a pass.
Yeah,
he's getting a pass, man. That 5th year, I was in agreement with that. I was in agreement with the 5th year.
Oh yeah, I agree with that too.
Because he didn't get a chance to. It wasn't fair how things were done. Just put it like that. So he deserved a 5th year, but nobody seems to like him in the top 15.
No,
since he took over, he's like in the 20s all the time. What does that mean?
In the 20s, but in like the top 5 or top 10 of pay. So that's you know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's be honest, right? Everybody who says that shouldn't dictate it is just wrong. Like your pay should dictate how good you are. Isn't that what we normally expect? You know, you don't go into a job and think like, yeah. So,
I mean, Mahomes should get whatever heat it comes. Look how much money he's making. You got to give him heat where it's deserved. If you're gonna give him praise when he's doing well, you got to give him heat when he's like, man, that pass was awful. Why'd you do that for 700 plus? That's just fair, man. But I don't want to count nobody's money, but that's just
no. You can count when it's public. You remember when college kids we used to say, "Oh, they're amateurs," and we don't criticize them, and now they all making money. So now we're like, well, okay, if you're gonna make millions, you know, I'm gonna tell you that you're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, okay, y'all get paid. We're gonna tell you that you're terrible.
I remember that. It was a long time ago, but I remember that. They just kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, these
Not
kids
anymore.
got commercials.
Yes.
Got here running pizza ads. I'm like, sneaker deals, triple digit millions sneaker. I'm like, wow. Yeah, we're gonna critique you. We're gonna critique you till the cows come home. No, okay. So how do we break this down? So my question for you about QB purgatory: which of these teams are in QB purgatory? We established that. Which one has the best chance to get out of it? So you got the Chargers. I guess I got to include the Jaguars because every Jaguar fan that I know quite a few of them. None of them are excited about their trajectory, if you will. Nobody thinks, you know what, this team's going to go far and do great. Nobody's saying, yeah, this is it. We can easily win the division and we can go into the playoffs. Nobody's saying that at all. And a lot of the fingers go pointed back to the quarterback. I don't know why, but a lot of the fingers are pointed back at him. And if something happens with him, what do? You're going to try to call Chad Henne and get him to come back? Is that the plan? No, I don't think so. So you got the Chargers, the Jags, the Cowboys, the Saints. We're leaving the Browns out. The Buccaneers, the Seahawks. Still feel the same way about them. Bo might disagree, but I think they're in QB purgatory even before Geno left. The Dolphins and the Cardinals and the Giants. Who gets out of this first?
I feel like the Chargers. If it wasn't for the Chiefs, because I think their philosophy has changed to where they're putting less on the quarterback and maybe more defense and run-oriented team. So I think new coaching staff is going to get the most out of her. Now, you're resetting at the wide receiver position, so that's definitely something that you have to address. And you're playing in a division with, the Chiefs and the Broncos team that's getting better. So that's definitely going to be tough for you. But out of that list, I think that Harbaugh can get the most out of Herbert by maybe not asking him to do as much as the other teams are asking their guy. And I think that he will improve the defense and the run game before anything else. And that's why I think they escape it. So it's not even like escaping the QB purgatory part of it. It's just making the rest of the team better. You know what I mean? So a lot of the other teams you mentioned, I'll let you tell me how we're doing this if you want to approach the other teams. Or
You break down the one that come to mind. You can break down like Cardinals, Buccaneers, Cowboys, whatever, Saints, whatever come to mind for you. Yeah.
Okay. So with the rest, so the Saints is an interesting one because I don't necessarily think they're in purgatory. I think they're in salary cap purgatory and very bad decision making purgatory. So like you just re-sign Alvin Kamara, and people are like, "Oh, that's great!" Like what, to play with this terrible team? Like it doesn't make sense to give that guy money that you're never gonna utilize him fully. Derek Carr isn't the answer. I think we've seen that. Spencer Rattler, most people would say, isn't the answer. Their problem is a philosophy thing. You should just tear this whole thing down, try to start over, get as many cheap people in there, ride out the salary cap problems you've made 2 or 3 years, and then, do this. So you're not in purgatory. You just made a lot of bad decisions leading up to this, and I think you think you're better. You had a lot of talent, and it seemed like the beginning of the year was good, and maybe that was a false hope, and now you realize, okay, this team's not good, and the players we have assembled are not good. So I think that's their problem. The Cardinals are an interesting one. You're pretty much stuck with Kyler Murray. Was Marvin Harrison Jr., was he the right pick? Did he help elevate anything this past year? You got to think the division is wide open as it ever been, and you didn't step through there. And Kyler Murray's going into a 7th season. Have we ever seen anything that makes us think, yeah, that's the guy for a whole 17 games or 16 games, whatever? Right? Mm-hmm. You've seen it. You can probably pick out 2 games a year where you're like, dang, Kyler won that game for him.
Yeah, just about 2.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 2. You're right. It's 2. It seems like every time. But the rest of it is like, ooh. And it's funny. And this is the whole draft conversation. We don't have time to get into that right this second, but everybody was saying this stuff about him in the draft, pre-draft. A lot of this stuff. and it's happening right now. And it's like nobody wants to say, "Oh yeah, that was me." I said that. We just act like we didn't say it. and what they said is happening is it's exactly what's happening. I think Kingsbury helped them avoid the place where they are right now a little sooner, because I think that they'd have been in an even worse spot. I don't want to leave the Cowboys. I know that people will be like, "Oh, here we go, NFC East hating." No, it's not, man. But it's like, it's the definition that we found afterwards. The one that we came to is legit. How could you not say this is not it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, I'm blanking out the year now, but we're talking about basically almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That you were relevant. I mean, Aikman was in the uniform then, where you were actually relevant, and you had a more than competent quarterback. Now, Dak was fifth year before last or last year in the regular season. I ain't hating on that part of it. But the playoff part, and they can't get beyond that. You're just not the example of QB purgatory, average to above average quarterback that can't make it.
Yeah. Great regular seasons. 2 years ago, second in the MVP voting. Will really beat up on bad teams. Will fail you in the playoffs. You're paying them 55, 60 million. This is all the definition of, you can't just get rid of them tomorrow, so you're stuck with them. But
no, they can't get rid of him now.
No.
They're going to have him for a while unless they try to move him and his contract.
But you're not winning the Super Bowl with him, and you kind of know that going into the year. And it's because of decisions you've made. The supporting cast has gotten worse over the last 2 years, right? The coaching has gotten worse in the last year. So he's not the guy that you think is going to elevate a subpar, team, right? I mean, I think most people, even Cowboys fans, have to be honest. Like, Dak is not that guy, but he's getting paid like that guy.
Oh, without question. Without question. How about Baker though? Do we feel like the Buccaneers are in this too? Because I mean, he got a 3-year 100.
Right.
That's not. Come on. I mean, I think he's been doing great for them. Just to be honest about it, him and Mike Evans have been dynamite. But that's not no QB1 upper echelon dealer. You got to admit that, Herb. It's not that. So
I don't think he's like spectacular. But at the beginning of the year, he was getting a couple MVP votes, and their defense was terrible, and they lost their number 2 wide receiver coming down the stretch. But they're still good enough to win a bad division and get to the playoffs, and who knows? So I don't feel like they're in the purgatory part, because I think they could probably escape Baker anytime they want reset. Their whole organization is kind of in that middle realm where it's, hey, we're good enough to make the playoffs. We're good enough to always win our division. We're probably not good enough to make, to win the Super Bowl. But if I subbed out Baker and I put in Patrick Mahomes, that team's still not winning the Super Bowl. So I don't think it's on him or that they're in a purgatory part. I just think they're the rest of the pieces, and I don't know, maybe even coaching. I'd love to hear a Tampa Bay person's thing, but I don't put him in the same category as the other. I don't think they're stuck with Baker. I think he got the contract that was warranted for his play, and he's done about as well as he can with that team. But the defense at times has just been absolutely terrible. So I don't think that's on him.
I don't know who's the one that's going to get out of this first. I honestly don't know, man.
I feel like the Chargers did, right?
Well, I like them out of the list that we have. I was supposed so, because I kind of feel like they all have a little bit of QB purgatory in them. I mean, if the definition is average to above average quarterbacks that no matter what, they can't be good. They're not good enough to get their team into a Super Bowl. Right. And almost everybody here qualifies for that part, even Justin Herbert. Oh man. I think I'm gonna have to just concede.
The Herbert one is interesting, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna concede with the Chargers, man, because this is a tougher question than I anticipated. But I believe in the hardball, but that's just me. I'm biased. I don't know what. I'm gonna be honest about it. It is what it is.
No, well, but I agree on that one. I do think he can get it turned around, but I think his philosophy is just different than what they have. And he's probably got one of the better quarterbacks that he's had, but he still walked into that situation and said, we're going to be a run first defensive team before I put all, and does that say something about Herbert to you, that the coach walked in and saw this guy and said, yeah, I think we'll run and play more defense than we'll let you throw. And we'll let every wide receiver go before I get here, So
I don't know. Maybe that he didn't want him to be like Joe Burrow, I guess, throwing 5,000 yards a game for
and lose it.
three or four out of the last 5 or 6 years. He doesn't want him to be burnt out, but perhaps that played a big part. But the one team that's not in this is probably Atlanta. It's hard to say that they're in purgatory when they got 2 quarterbacks that can start.
Yeah,
it's really hard to say that about them because they can keep on rolling. I think that could be a key to the answer to this question. But let's go ahead and get into some other stuff. Normally we do news and notes. Nah, this is our Ask Herb segment.
Uh-oh.
I got like about 5 questions I want to ask you, and then after that, we got a game that we want to actually try to play. And guess what? You're getting all the play because there's nobody here to bounce it against except you. So
am I winning and losing?
Absolutely. You're winning, but you're more winning than you are losing. But it's like I can't bounce off anybody. It is what it is, though. We got to get through this. So here we go. All right. So very first question. This year, all 32 NFL teams all have their first round picks for the first time in, if not a long time in history. How likely is it that there'd be no trades in the first round?
0%.
Forget the mock stuff because those are all lies anyway.
Yeah.
There's zero chance. You mean to tell me there's no possible way there'd be no trades?
Correct. So the first, and it's in stages. The first stage is there might be some screwy stuff happening with the first couple picks, right? Because you've seen every mock draft all over the place. As far as we think we know Cam Ward is going first. That number 2 through 4 pick, yeah. The number 2 through 4 pick. I mean, I showed you a mock draft this week where Shador fell to 7, right? So
you showed me that. I guess it's possible, but the Giants taking Membo, he's good. We don't end up happening to him. Almost what happens to every tackle that comes out with shorter arms. They go on the guard, and he's an athlete, a freak athlete, decent feet, decent speed. But he's going to guard, and I'm like, we're not doing that at 3. I just don't see it. Take the guard. No, and he's not even the guard. He's a tackle, but he's not even the best tackle in the draft. I still like Will Campbell from LSU. I think he's the best tackle because he does everything well. You know what I'm saying? But all right, so you say there's no possible chance.
You're going to have one in the top when somebody falls that should, and you're going to have one middle trade for sure. And you're always going to have that one last trade where somebody in the second round wants to trade back to get into the first round just because they like that guy or they like I don't know. Minimum, though, you got minimum 1. So that makes it 0%. But I think in all 3 stages of the draft, first 10, second 10, third 10, you're getting a trade. So I'm saying at least 3 first-round trades.
Okay, well, the one that gets me is the one surrounding Jackson Dart. That's why I think you're right about this, because there's no way in the world that he's going into the second round. I just don't see it. Even if Shador drops, he's still not going to the second round. I think somebody's going to take him somewhere in the 20s, and they may have to trade up to do so, especially if it's
before Milroe.
No, what part about drafts, man? About the NFL draft? Your mind changes like almost constantly. It's kind of nauseating. Yeah. You feel like, you know what? Like the first week of our pre-draft stuff, I felt good. Did my research. I'm like, yeah, man, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get Dart. I'm going to go like Kevin Hart now. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? I tell you what's going to happen. But Dart, I felt good about that, and now I don't. I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm hearing Milroe. I'm hearing Milroe to the Giants. I heard it before early on in the process, but now I'm hearing it a lot. I'm like, really? Will we do that?
I hope
will we take him in? No, not in the second round.
You know why I asked about Milroe, right? Because he got invited to the draft. That's the only reason why. If you told me just Jackson Dart was just getting drafted before Milroe, period, I'd be like, okay. But now that Milroe has been invited to the draft, I'm like, so what does this mean? You definitely putting him before Dart? Because that's not something I thought was happening in the process. I thought he had slid and Dart had moved up. So now I have no clue what it is.
Now, okay, that's where I'm at. I have no idea. Because now I feel like, you know what? I guess people think the thing that he doesn't do well, you know what they are. You watched more than I did. I watched several games, but not nowhere near what you did. They think it's fixable by coaching. So if that be so, he's going to go higher than we thought. I feel like just the early second round is still it, though. And I think if he's there, we might consider it. I know Shador's not going to be there. So if we want to take a quarterback, with 3, which I'd be shocked if we do at this point. But if Milroe's there, we might do that. I mean, he has so many tools, man.
You can't take Milroe at 3. You can't take Milroe at 3.
No, I was thinking more like 34.
I think about yeah. You can take him in later. You just can't take him. You can't take a guy at 3 that you're thinking has 0% chance of starting year 1, and you don't want him to. You know, you just can't do that to your team. I don't. And
then the Abdul Carter conversation starts up again, because now if he's not right, he ain't starting either. If we take him at 3, so but I get what you're saying though. They should be a day one starter.
Right.
Should be a day one starter. Well, I agree with you, man. So we can move on to the next one. All right. So, including now the recent domestic violence incident by Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. How do you see his legacy? Is it positive, on the upward swing, or is it negative, going back the other direction?
Oh, definitely negative. I think you're at the point now where you can hardly remember his Chiefs days. And the fact that they have moved on just fine without him, you know what, won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl since he's been there. And you're trying to think, what was his most positive achievement as a Miami Dolphin? And now what strikes the mind, comes to mind. Okay. And I'm not even gonna talk about the latest one just because I don't know all the fact shit. I know it just came out. I don't know if it's been hacked out yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even gonna pile that on. But the end of year rant, right? You know, the altercation earlier this year, even if it wasn't his fault, it just seems like certain people are always in it. You know what I mean? And those are the things. Like when I say those, you're like, yeah. Now, what's his best thing that he's done as a Miami Dolphin? They haven't won a playoff game, right?
I don't know.
They haven't won the division. So you're like, he's been good at times. And I know people say, oh, well, part of that's Tua's fault. He had been. Okay, that's fine. But he hasn't done anything else. But you will remember all the negatives.
Okay. So
at the point now, well, there's probably people who just kind of jumped in. If you're a casual watcher and I told you that he was with the Chiefs, you'd go, really? You know what I mean? Like it feels like that was 10 years ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is no, you good. I don't want to pile on either, man, but it feels like stuff keeps happening. If it ain't at the house, it's on the highway. It's like stuff keep on seeming to happen. Before he went to the Dolphins, did you consider him a top 5 wide receiver?
Definitely. I thought when he was with Kansas City, I thought he was dynamic. When he first got to Miami, I thought he was dynamic. So
that's still that's still the residue from KC though. But do you feel like that now though? Is he a top 5 receiver now?
No, I mean you're thinking who is your top 5, right? Jefferson, Chase, got to be there.
I ain't put him in that order. Yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I took Chase first. I had a chance to get the first receiver in our last draft, and I took him. So, oh no!
Look who's here. Big Mike in the house, host of the Running Wrestling Podcast, 8 p.m. Central, every Thursday night, baby. What's up, Big Mike?
Not much, brother. What's going on? I heard there was a game to be played, and I couldn't let her be out here in the game by herself, so I had to jump in.
Yeah, that game has 20 players, and I need help. So I'm glad you're here because 20 players is a lot for one person. I want to do her like
Dolphins guy though. He might be better suited for that question than that we're.
I want to hear it. We are including but not including the recent domestic violence incident with Tyreek Hill. How do you see his legacy? Positive or negative now? Herb said negative, and I kind of tend to agree because I thought he was top 5 before he went to Miami. Now I'm like, I don't see that anymore. Maybe it's the speed that's falling off. I don't know what it is, but I don't see that anymore. So add this stuff to it. It's not a good legacy maker. What do you think, brother? You're a Dolphins fan.
It's definitely on the downswing. I mean, I'd have to completely agree with Herb. it's definitely nothing like what it was when he was at the Chiefs and everything like that. When he came to Miami, everybody was so excited and everything else that they were getting one of the best receivers ever. And now it's like, especially last year too. I mean, a couple of years before that, he was still pretty good. But last year was such a struggle that it's like, is this even the same guy? So, I mean, I get it. Everybody declines, but it seems like his decline has been more like a fall off of a cliff than a steady downhill.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we agreed on this one. All right, here's up. I want you to think about this one because this may not be as quick of an answer as you think it might be. So give it time. Let it sit in. Can the New Orleans Saints win the NFC South this year?
Can the Saints?
Mm-hmm.
No. I'll tell you this. I would put Tampa Bay first. Just because I'm feeling froggy, I'll put Carolina second. I'll put the Falcons third. And then I put the Saints fourth.
So my only I haven't ranked anything, but my only challenge with this is that one of the reasons why they were so bad, and you already mentioned earlier about their finances, that's a nightmare scenario. They're gonna have to work really hard to overcome that part. But most of their down, well, I guess I just said the past couple of years because I can't remember 3 years back when it comes to that team. But the past 2 years or so, they were hit with injuries a lot, man. It's really hard to blast them. Alabi was out for a good bit of that. Carr was out himself. Kamara was out. They had guys on the line that was out. I just can't remember the name right now. Rashid Shaheed, their deep threat stud, he was out. They had guys on defense that was out for sure. I think Brian was not. I'm not sure if he was out. But just those guys on the offense alone, they were all out almost the entirety of those 2 years. So with these guys back in here, I mean that's a really good offense, especially if Carr's staying upright. It's really important that he stays up because he can't throw the ball from his back. It was kind of silly to throw it up in the air like that. But no chance with that offense. Everybody healthy.
I get mine. What do you think, Mike?
I can't say it.
No, I mean I would flip flop probably Carolina and Atlanta in your situation.
Right.
I may even put Carolina fourth just because I haven't seen anything that says they're in the right direction, to be completely honest. So I may say the Saints would be third, but yeah, they're definitely not above Atlanta or Tampa Bay in that division.
Yeah, man, I ain't trying to argue that fight. But it's 2 against 1. Let's keep on moving. All right.
Well, let me say something that you always say too, right?
What?
How many times is Derek Carr going to get hit this year? How many times is he going to get hurt?
I don't know, man, but he has the power of multiplication.
You see what I'm saying?
He gets hit on the shoulder. He gets hit on the shoulder, and his knee, his ankle, and his neck are all hurt at the same time. He gets hit in the shoulder. Almost impossible scientifically, but he does it every single time. I've never seen that before in my life. I've been watching NFL for over 50 years. I never seen a person get hit one area and 4 other areas hurt, and it's almost impossible. But not for Derek Carr. He can do that.
Am I missing why Derek Carr was such a hot commodity? I don't remember the guy ever being that good. I mean, he was good a couple of years, but I mean, I don't know that he was ever so good that we're thinking he's going to turn around a team. I don't know that I ever saw that from Derek Carr.
You know what it is? Honestly, something I think we said earlier in here. Your amount of elite quarterbacks is so small that you start reaching for anybody who's good. So you don't go for good, you go for good, not great as a category. You're like, well, we're not going to get a Pat Mahomes. We're not going to get a Lamar. We're not going to get a Josh Allen, which, by the way, everybody passed on these guys. You know what I mean? So,
Lady Alpha, you stop it.
That's it. Look, I feel it, man, because right now we're talking about hurt. My knee just started hurting. Just like, hey, somebody call me.
I don't believe a word of this statement. I don't believe a word of this. None of it. So, lady, you something else. No,
but I think that's why, Mike, you can't get to the elite quarterbacks. So that second tier of, hey, this guy's okay. People reach for that. So that's it. That's my feeling on it anyway.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'm not saying he's elite, but okay, those first 2 or 3 games this season, y'all wasn't excited. Just be honest. Y'all weren't excited?
You'll listen to Saints podcast. They were like, we're winning the division. We're doing great.
I for sure thought, you know what? This is what they've been waiting for all this time. I was like, legit, this is it. Because when he was getting the ball out of his hands fast, his receivers were catching it, running the proper routes. They were connecting. They were on pace with each other. It was beautiful. First of all, first game, it was beautiful. And he did that same thing on his former team too. They had spots like that with the Raiders where he just like looked like, oh wow. And then all of a sudden, fourth game, fifth game in, like, oh, what is this nonsense? You know? So I don't know what they saw either, but I know what we've seen in flashes. But this is his last year. There's just guarantee he's not coming back after this. Right. They're not paying him. I don't know who pick him up and for what money, because he does flash, but it's not good enough.
The Birmingham Stallions need a quarterback. They just lost their quarterback. So it's like you've done.
See, you're probably winning a championship too. See, watch your mouth. Be careful now. You might go down there and win you a championship.
Well, now you put him up against UFL players. That's a little different story.
You be out here wearing Derek Carr jerseys now. Watch yourself now. Don't let the hypocrisy get you now.
They just won one. What was it? What's the dude that just won one? When I watched him in person, I said he was terrible, and he got the MVP of the league, and they won the championship. So Carr could absolutely win a championship.
It's been a different quarterback every. I know I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's been a different quarterback every year.
Yeah. So,
well, we smile for you, lady. We love you. So we're gonna smile for you whenever you show up, lady. We love you. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate it. All right. So we talked about Kyler Murray a little while ago. We got 2 more questions to be going to this game because I got to be on time tonight. I'm on a budget.
Let's go.
Right,
let's
go.
So I got
you. What's the ceiling for Kyler Murray if and only if he returned to being a viable dual threat? He had a major knee injury 2 years ago that kind of limited his ability to do certain things. What's the ceiling for for Kyler Murray for the Cardinals if Murray returned to his dual threat dangerousness, if you will? What's the ceiling for the team?
You want to go first, Mike?
I love you, lady.
No, you can go first.
Yeah. Because of the turmoil in the division, I think the best you can do is win the division. And that's not because they're doing – well, you know what? I'd probably still pick the Rams to win the division. So I'm going to say wild card spot if a lot of things go your way, and maybe an upset win at some points. I don't think Kyler Murray is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you're too dependent on like what your partner said right there. Hey, healthy, good. I mean, he's still small in stature, you know. He doesn't really elevate a subpar crew around him. And what do we count? 2-3 games a year where you're like, oh, Kyler won that game, maybe. And there's just a lot of games where he seems to disappear. I mean, they seem to start off great, right, every year, and then it's like teams catch up real quick. And they're last year, if you didn't win the division, I don't know what you're doing. The division was there for everybody. Like nobody wanted to win it.
Yeah,
and they still couldn't. I don't know that it gets better than that. You know, San Francisco will refigure it out. The Rams are actually making moves. They played Philly the toughest. You know, Seattle's going to Seattle. I have no idea what they're doing at times.
Neither do they. It's fine.
But I feel like
a wild card, huh?
If you didn't win the division last year, it's tough for me to say that it's coming for you in the future.
Mike, any different thoughts about that, or you?
A little bit, only because you said if Kyler Murray gets to where he has been before or where he could be, I think they could win a division just because, let's be honest, that division is just not great. So if you can get decent play out of him with some of the rest of your team around there, I mean, you're going to do a little better than you did last year, and you could mess up and win a division. So I mean, that's not saying a ton.
I don't love him.
Mike doesn't sound like he's convinced though.
No, that was not a ringing endorsement for sure. I mean, I don't like them on either side of the ball. To be honest with you, they got right. Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat is going to help them on the defense. If Buda Baker is himself, they're going to have a nice defense, but the offensive part is like, ooh. I like James Conner in the Trey Benson combination. I think it's good. Underrated, probably one of the very good ones in the league. Nobody's going to say that but me, but so many other good ones that's better than that. But I like those two a lot. But besides that, I'm like, so if you're not throwing it to MSJ Jr. or MS Jr., who you throwing it to? You know, I just don't like any of that stuff. He needs to have.
McBride had a good year, right? But
yeah, but now we got tape now. You got a big contract.
They seem like a perfectly mediocre team.
Mediocre team. Ooh, that makes me sad. All right. Let's do a last question, then go ahead and jump to our game, because the game is, like I said, it's 20 people, 20 players in there, so I got to divvy it up between you guys and see if we can get through it before the top of the hour. All right, so last question, and don't laugh. This is a legit question. I want you to think about it. I'm totally serious here. Can the Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson return to prominence? Seriously. Not this year, because he's injured. I'm talking about, by prominence, I mean top 12 quarterback. That's my bar. That's my benchmark. Top 12. He's working out now, so that's really good, right? Can he get there? And right now, everybody's saying no. There's no shot. He's done. But
can you hear me now?
There?
My mic.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Can he get there?
0% chance. 0%.
Yeah.
You can't say zero for everything, man.
That's the easiest question so far. No.
Y'all ain't got no faith in him.
No,
he can't work out and get a coach and a trainer and get back to his form, throwing the ball like a football quarterback. There's no chance.
Hold on, let me check.
Hold on. No. Okay. Whatever. I'm riding along. No.
Y'all killing that man. No. He better not do nothing good. Y'all got to call him.
If Kyler was playing 1 or 2 good games a year, Watson was giving you half that. So Kyler got to 3, Watson got to a game and a half. Yep. That's not even getting to him being a terrible person. Just the on the field has been bad. You know, it's like no.
Well, I don't know who the starter is, but enjoy it.
And his contract was so bad that all the owners got together and said, "We're never doing that again. What is wrong with you?" So no.
I hope they keep their promise, but I don't trust them. Do you? All right. All right. So we got like 13 minutes, so we can take a little bit of time with this. But here's our game. I've been holding it for a month. I hope it's fun. If not, and it sucks, nobody's gonna care 2 weeks from now. So it's all good. All right. So
that's the way to approach it.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
It's great. That's awesome. If not, nobody's gonna care.
All right.
It's probably fine.
I hope so. But last year there was 20 players that caught 8 or more touchdown passes.
Okay.
Please don't Google. All right, I'm gonna give you some hints. All right, so I'm gonna name the team and I'm gonna name their number. They are wide receivers. There's no need for me to say anything more than that. All right, so I ain't gonna say their jersey numbers either, because that would be a dead giveaway. All right, so first one, Philadelphia, 8 touchdown passes. Who's the wide receiver?
AJ Brown.
What's your answer, Mike?
They had only 8, or they had 8 or more?
They had 8.
Oh, exactly 8.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's probably more Smitty if it's only 8.
Yeah,
than it would be 8. I think AJ would have more than that, so I'd say it's Smitty.
Correct. Like Devontae Smith. Yep. Good one. I'm giving y'all the hard ones first, because the other ones will be so easy. All right. Tampa Bay, 11 touchdowns.
I mean, you got to go Evans, right? Godwin.
I wish I had Jeopardy music. You sure? I'm just asking. These other guys on the team.
I'd probably go Evans.
All right, it is Mike Evans. Good stuff.
Is this only strictly receivers, or are you counting tight ends in any of this? Or I don't know if it's inside that much, but
they put like 3 tight ends in there. Okay. I give you a leeway on that one.
Okay.
We get to it. All right, so
not that I thought that one would be one, but just out of curiosity.
Right.
That's good. Baltimore, 9 touchdowns.
Nobody.
Somebody is somebody.
Derrick Henry.
You said they had to catch 9 touchdowns? This is like 3 people?
I don't know that I could name a Baltimore wide receiver, to be honest.
All right.
I'm going to say Isaiah Likely.
No, he ain't had that much. All right.
If his toes are a little bit shorter.
This is a one shot. You can't answer twice now. Y'all both answered already.
So it's a wide receiver for the Ravens.
You already both answered wrong already. We're moving on. It's Rashad Bateman.
Zay Flowers, right? Oh, it was
Rashad Bateman. 9 touchdowns. See,
bro, right. I liked his Derrick Henry answer better than anything else. To be honest, I thought you were something, Mike.
I don't think he caught 5, but okay. All right, this should be an easy one.
He may have caught 5 passes.
Minnesota 10. This is a tough one. It might not be who you think. Minnesota 10 touchdown passes.
Only because you're peppering me, I'm gonna go Addison.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm gonna agree because I would say Jefferson had more than that. I'd say Addison.
That's what I would think too.
Jefferson had 10.
Wow.
Jefferson had 10? All right, you're not allowed to say stuff like it's not going to be who you think, because now you're just skewing the answer. Now you're actively working against us.
If nothing else, it shows entertaining. If nothing else, right?
No, not for us. We're being tortured.
Okay, all right. San Francisco, here's one of your exemptions. San Francisco, 8 touchdowns. You know who it is,
obviously good. It's obviously going to be Kittle because you said it's the exception because it's going to be the tight end.
I can't tell you that. That's not gonna make it fun if I keep telling y'all who it is.
I was not listening to the exception part.
All right. Let's go and get another one out of the way then. Baltimore, 11 touchdown passes. Who's that?
Zay Flowers.
Well, he said it's the other exemption, so I mean it's got to be Andrews.
Yep, I'm giving you that one. I ain't giving you the last one. The last one you ain't getting that. You got to earn that one. All right. So Washington, 13 touchdowns.
Terry McLaurin, because I don't know any of their other wide receivers.
See, I'm bad at this because I don't know half of them. I've exhausted the non-Miami Dolphin players that I already know. So,
Scary Terry, because the other guy got a weird name, Zacharian or something, Zacharias or something. I don't know. I'm going with.
Oh, you're talking about Zacchaeus?
Yeah, Zacchaeus.
All right. So yeah, it's McLaurin. Excellent. All right, This is an easy one, probably too. Well, maybe it's not. Cincinnati. It is 17 touchdown passes.
Jamar Chase.
Yes, Chase.
Yeah, easy. All right. Atlanta, 9 touchdown passes. You guys are doing good, man.
Well, does that be London?
Do you want a question mark? Do you want a question mark added to my answer as well? Or you going to give me definitive?
I said Drake London. No question.
I'll say London. I mean that's.
Y'all are both correct. It's London. 9 touchdown passes.
I'm trying to think of who the other receivers are. So that's also eliminated.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, do they have a better receiver than London that I'm not thinking of?
Wait. So Lady Alpha, Cincinnati had all offense, no defense. So they found the end zone a lot of times. But the opponent found it. Like if Cincinnati found it 11, the other team found it 12. So yeah,
Joe Burrow
has no breaks.
Joe Burrow threw for over 5,000 yards, Lady Alpha. I'm sure they found the end zone. And matter of fact, Chase Brown probably had 8 or 9 of them himself. Surprised he's not in this list. Yep. All right, next one. Ooh, this is a give, man. They had 2 different teams. You're gonna know who it is immediately. Let's go ahead and do it. The Jets and the Raiders, 8 touchdowns. You know who it is. Yeah, easy. All right. All right. Arizona, 8 touchdown passes.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Question mark.
That's the other.
Yeah, question mark.
We just talked about we're not sure who are the other. Like even when we talked about them, it's like who other than him's going to catch anything. So it's got to be him.
Yeah.
Just by process of.
Yeah, Trey McBride.
It's Emmett.
He's playing tight end.
So these are going to start getting tougher, which is what I was hoping for, because you guys are killing the easy ones. All right, not yet though. Cincinnati, 10 touchdown passes.
I guess what's his face that was always hurt? Higgins.
Mike, you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I can't think of anybody else.
It is T. Higgins. Number 5.
I mean, I know their third wide receiver, and then their 4th wide receiver, I think, is in jail. So I don't know.
Oh, come on.
All right. He graduated from our university, so we know he's there, but he's just a troublemaker.
Y'all keep it up. Keep it with a man like that. They got him spotted. All right, so Jacksonville, 10 touchdown passes.
Wow. Oh, Brian.
I know. Yeah, I had to think of his name. Kid from LSU. Yep.
All right.
Thomas Jr.
Very good. Y'all smoking these. If I get the last
okay, but
one,
to be fair, I don't know any other Jacksonville Jaguars.
yes, you do. We talked about one like 3 weeks ago. But he got traded since then. But when we
I
talked
was
about
going to say
it,
Calvin Ridley was there, but I can't
no,
remember
not
his
him.
name.
I mean the other guy we were talking about in free agency. Remember, Kirk.
Oh yeah,
He's not in this list.
He played last year.
He's not here.
So did he.
Detroit, 12 touchdown passes.
I'm all
St.
right.
Brown?
Brown.
Question mark.
No, I was pretty sure about that one.
Okay. It is St. Brown. Y'all something else, man. All right.
I knew it wasn't Williams.
Yeah, Minnesota.
I was thinking, like
9.
Addison.
Mike.
Mike's frozen.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking. I'm. Yeah, I'll go with Addison. I can't think of the tight end's name because I know they had some production tight end, but that's what I was thinking. But I thought
he was injured for a while. I don't think he has that much.
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be Addison.
All right. So these should be the 5, and it should be the toughest. Hopefully, we'll see. Denver, 8 touchdown passes.
I can't even remember the dude's name.
Oh wow! I can't. I don't know what to do with that. There's no hints for me.
No, because I remember because it was him and Judy were the only guys there, but I can't even remember his name right now.
Yeah, Judy's the only one I know, but I didn't think he had that many.
No, well, he left. He was in Cleveland by then.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So,
that's right.
You know,
I don't have any.
I don't keep up with Denver. I couldn't. I don't
know what kind
of. Did he throw him to upset?
No, I don't know what kind of hints I can offer y'all when you don't know their names. I don't know what to say here.
No, I mean I can it's almost like I could see it, but without Googling, I can't remember the dude's name at the exact moment.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm gonna have to give you that one for time's sake. Cortland Sutton.
Sutton, yep. I know who you're talking about.
Yep. He's the man right now.
I can tell you that his name started with a C, but that was.
And I apologize. I'm not sure why I decided to jump on an NFL show with not knowing half about the NFL. Just thought I was going to help. I actually thought I was going to be like an opponent for you, Herb, and it'd be an easy win for you. So I thought I'd be like, "Oh, you win easy," but I didn't realize I was supposed to help you. So I apologize ahead of time. So
if we're counting the right answers, he actually is winning. So you're welcome. All right. So Los Angeles Chargers, 8 touchdown passes. I know this one is not easy. This one is not easy.
Only 8?
Yeah.
I'm going Ladd. Mostly because I can't. It was a Palmer, the other guy, so I'm going Ladd.
It's Quentin Johnston.
I forgot he was there. I thought they thought he was a bust. Wasn't it when he thought he was a bust? And
those are most of those were garbage touchdowns. I'm just being honest with you. I remember them. That's how I know. All right, here's the last 3 tough ones. No more wide receiver tight end distinctions on this one. I gotta hold you guys to the fire on this one. Miami, 8 touchdowns. It's your team, Mike. So you kind of
I mean, it's got to be Hill because I don't think Waddle had that.
I'm gonna go Jonnu Smith then, just because.
I'm gonna go Hill.
Herb cheating out here today. Herb out here cheating. How you do that, Herb? It is John Luke.
Because you said before you started, I'm not gonna tell you which is which, and then you
see. I didn't think he would lead with the tight end there, and I don't remember Jonnu scoring that much, but I guess he did.
I had Jonnu to end in fantasy, so I knew how well he did at the end.
Okay.
I picked him up some halfway through. So it was Jonnu Smith. Don't you can't throw out a guy who I had in fantasy. That's the only reason why I even know his name. I
had him too in one of my leagues. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay. All right. So these are the last 2. These are gonna probably be the toughest of the night. And then we'll go ahead and let you guys tell everybody where to find your work and we'll shut it down. All right. So Tampa Bay, 8 touchdowns. You know you can't pick Mike Evans. Joe Ray did that already. 8 touchdowns.
I can't remember their tight ends.
I wish I had the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I don't think there are any more tight ends.
I have to go. Even though he got hurt, I cannot remember the tight end's name. I think I picked him up at one point too. I feel like that's who you want, but I cannot remember their name.
Yeah, I think it'd be Godwin. I think he said there was only 3 tight ends, and Johnny would have been the 3rd. So I think it'd have to be Godwin. I don't think it would be a tight end.
You're doing great. You're doing great. No, I don't play that game. I don't do that. All right, this is Jalen McMillan.
Sure.
That man, when Godwin was out, that's who was getting the passes. When Godwin was out, that's who was getting the passes.
I just said Nick McMillan before I said him.
He plays for the Seattle Supersonics, and that team's not even around anymore.
Oh, I know. That's why I said him before. I do.
Bye, lady.
And I would have backed you up, Mike. Yeah. Good job, Mike.
All right. Last one, and you guys can shout everybody out. Last one. Tennessee. I know you guys are going to get this one wrong. I'm positive. Tennessee, 9 touchdown passes.
So if we're getting it wrong, that means what's that name? Kenny? What's the guy with the hyphenated name?
You got more wide receivers than that.
Oh, I know.
Isn't that where Ridley went?
And him.
Isn't that where Ridley went?
Yeah, that's where Ridley went.
Yeah.
I'll say Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
I'll say Calvin
Ridley. The other guy with the hyphenated name.
Nick Westbrook Akine. That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm taking half a point.
I'm not giving y'all no more clues on games going forward.
I'm taking half a point.
Oh, I'm helping y'all too much. We can't do that in the future.
But next time, Herb will have an opponent that actually knows a little bit about the NFL, so it'll be harder for him anyway. You may not have to give as many hints.
Oh boy,
you might be on the same level, Mike. I'm a college guy. I don't know none of this NFL stuff.
It's all good though. Tell everybody where they can find your work, guys. Fantastic show tonight. Start with you, Big Mike.
You see it down there at _Big Mike 27. You can catch me in roughly an hour at the Running Wrestling Podcast. We are talking everything AEW Dynasty, talking and going into WrestleMania. We'll be previewing a week full of shows next week. So catch us there.
The Young Bucks suck. Herb.
Mike's sidekick. You can usually just find me following Mike around.
Nobody's sidekick, man.
Herb Raj Podcast every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Also Saturday nights at 7:30 p.m. where we have a little bit more fun. And then you see the at there, Raj_Herb. Check us out there as well.
And we are
the hyphenated name man. Guy.
The hyphenated name. That's right. Herbert Michael Ragsdale. All right. So we are out of here, man. Next week, back here at 7 p.m. EST. The week after that, first round of the NFL draft. I'm going to be live in the studio. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have water and cough drops. Make sure this throat stays right. Some spray to make sure I stay immune and keep everything going. It's going to be a lot of talking for all that time. So I'm ready for it. We're going to have fun. But we're out of here, guys. Great show. You guys did fantastic as usual. Love you guys. Ooh.